Appreciate it. I do. All right. We do always rise, giving all the kabod and the kabah, which is the glory and the honor to the Most High Yah, through his being, which is his son, Yahusha HaMashiach. Truly grateful for another chance, another opportunity to be before you all, for this opportunity to be able to join him and come before him on his moed. Truly, you know, a lot of times we don't look into the vast honor that he's given us. Even one of the things that preacher was just talking about that, you know, really made me consider is what's the difference between who we look at to be our Savior and who they look at. That's only based upon the information that they've given. A lot of times we'll hear the word and we look at the fact that he's allowed our eyes to be open through the word, but we don't realize that that's only because he saw fit to show that great kindness to us. He's shown a favor to us. That's nothing that we have necessarily done, because he could have just left us in darkness, but the fact that he chose people that were in darkness and saw fit to show them light so that way they could have opportunity to walk in the light, that's a baraka and an honor. Because how deserving are we of it? We're not at all are we deserving of him saying, you know what, let me let you know who I am. You know what, matter of fact, go ahead and give me Romans chapter 15 and 4. You got this one? Appreciate that. Romans chapter 15 and 4. Listen to the book.
For whatever Nikatab before.
For whatever was preceding before now, the things that we were already given before this time, what was it given for?
Nikatab to Lamed us.
It was given to us to show us how to be like Yahuah and Yahusha. It was given for us to be able to change our state. Come on.
So that through endurance and through the Nakuma of the Ketubim, we might have Tikva.
And so the thing that we have to look at, is not just coming in and hearing that, or not just coming in and hearing the word, but understanding the privilege that we get by hearing the word. If he told us that whatsoever things were written aforetime written to teach us how to be like Yahuah and Yahushua, that meant that without the writings, I could never achieve that status. I could never achieve that estate. So the thing that we have to look at is, what is it that we did for him to say, I'm going to give you this opportunity? Even when we come back and talk about that tikva, that opportunity, what have any one of us done to deserve that opportunity? Absolutely nothing. That's a favor and a kindness that he's shown upon us to say, listen, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to give you a chance. Matter of fact, get me Romans chapter 9 and verse 15. Let's see how that works. I appreciate the way that things move and how Yahuah see fit for things to be said. Appreciate what preacher said, because it really gave me a chance to be able to really look at the fact of how much of a baraka it is. A lot of times we just doing stuff, but he didn't have to give us this opportunity. He did not owe this to us. Let's see what he said. Romans chapter 9 and verse 15. Let's see what he told Mushal. Listen.
For he says to Mushah, I shall have Rakam on whom I have Rakam.
He said, I'm going to have mercy on whom I have mercy. What's mercy? That's something that you're deserving of? That's an undeserved favor. The fact alone that he's giving you an opportunity to hear the word, that's undeserved favor. Yeah. Come on.
And I shall have compassion on whom I have compassion. Therefore, the debar is not in the yard of him who is wanting, nor in the yard of him who is running, but in the yard of Elohim who shows his rakam.
This is the thing that you look at. Read that again for me. Read it a little bit slower for him. Let's see.
Therefore,
slower for me too, because the thing is, it makes so much sense, and it works in line with what we're saying. Let's see. What did he say?
Therefore, the debar is not in the yard of him who is wanting.
The debar is not in the hands of him that is wanting. So that meant that me wanting it alone, what did that do for me? Let's say I'm just one of them people where I've always desired. I never felt comfortable with Jesus or Muhammad or Allah, whoever it is that you were serving. I never felt comfortable with that, and I wanted him to give me something else. I wanted to get the truth. What did he say? The debar is in the hands of them that want it.
The debar is not in the hands of him who is wanting.
So that meant that people who were comfortable where they are, he still saw fit to say, you know what? I'm going to give you this opportunity. That was a con. I was comfortable where I was. He could have just left me where I was, but instead he said, you know what? I'm going to give you an opportunity to do something different. Yeah. I'm going to give you an opportunity to change your status in your estate. Come on.
Nor in the yard of him who is running, but in the yard of Elohim who shows his rakam.
but in the hands of him who Elohim has shown will come unto him. The thing is, and that's not even just so much the fact that, a lot of times when preachers are preaching, they'll say, you know what, I don't deserve to be even the one to handle it in the bar, to be able to bring forth to the bar. But the fact that you even have the opportunity to hear, what have you done to deserve that? That's nothing that we could have even deserved. Come on.
For the Ketubim says to Pharaoh, for this I have Zarok you from the for I demonstrate my power in you, and for the sake of my Shem be proclaimed in all the Arat.
Now let's look at this. Lead down, so we'll and that'll help save a little time. We won't read it all. But even if you look at it, when Musha went and he went to speak to Pharaoh, what was it that Pharaoh said when Musha said, "Thus said Yahuah, let my people go, that they might keep a muhad to me in the Bamar bar"? What did Pharaoh say? He said, "Who is Yahuah?" So what would that mean? I don't know. That mean, I don't know him. Oh, listen, I'm gonna come here telling you, well, this is what Yahuah tell us to do. This is what Yahuah said. This is what he wants us to do. This is what he wants. Well, who is that? Who is he? So that means that what would have happened had he known him? I probably would have hearkened to him. I would have repented. So that's the thing that we all had to look at. I could have just left you where you didn't know me. So that meant that even when I'm coming forward and I'm bringing forth to the bar, it's of no benefit to you because you have no relationship to the one who sent it. That's right. That's the whole purpose of us getting the understanding of who he is. Matter of fact, hold me, Yuganan chapter Yuganan 17 and 3. Before we get there, get me Yuganan chapter 13 and verse 6. My fault. Matthew chapter 13 and 6. Excuse me. In a minute, we don't got him to read. I have to get preacher. I might let him quote it all. He got it all up there. And the thing is, I had a lot of places kind of in my mind that you kind of juggle with. You go here, go there, go here, go there. But that's why the thing that I appreciate is the fact of how preachers spoke, because you know what, and that's really where even one of the things that Jahi was saying as far as being able to be an aid and an asset to what preacher is saying, you look at it as even with Musha, he told Musha that he was going to be like what to him, like Elohim, and what was Yahusha was going to be. He was going to be like his Nabab. So the thing that you have to look at is he's giving us a man, and what is that man going to be in the similitude of for us? Elohim. So now I'm coming forth and I'm only radiating a Nebuah based off what the Elohim has spoken. So go ahead, get me that Matthew chapter 13 and verse 6. Listen to the book.
But it came to pass when the Shamash shone, it was scorched and dried up because it had no root.
Go ahead, give me 13. Go give me 13 and 1. That way we start from the beginning.
Yes, sir.
Listen to the book.
And it came to pass on that Yom, Yahushua went out of the Beth and sat beside the Yom, and a large crowd of was assembled to him. So he went down into the boat and sat in it, and all the stood on the seashore. And he spoke to them at length with Mashali, saying, Behold, the sower went out and sowed seed to sow seed. And as he sowed, some of the seed fell by the road, and the birds came and ate it. And there was some that fell on the rocky places, where there was not much soil, and it sprouted quickly because it had no deep soil. And
that's the thing that even with us, a lot of times we look at us being able to have the benefit of hearing the word. That's just like in the similitude of us seeds being planted. He's planting seeds of information in each and every one of us. But we look at what is it that happens when the seed is planted. Is that seed something that comes in and it's abide and it brings forth much pari, or is it something that when situations happen, a little bit of trouble happen, and what happened? It's scorched. So now it's no good. Somebody come in and tell me something. Now I'm carried away just like the seed that's carried away by the birds. So, but what happens with us? Let's see.
But it came to pass when the Shamash shone, it was scorched and dried up because it had no root.
And that's the thing that we all have to do. We all have to make sure that when we're hearing the word, that it's really coming in and becoming rooted in us. That's the only way that it can really be a benefit. If I just give you a seed, and you put it in your pocket, it's of no benefit. The seed has to come in, it's got to take root. And in order for that to even happen, it's got to fall into what kind of ground? It's got to fall into tube ground, because if it falls into the bad ground, then what good is it?
That's right.
Matter of fact, hold me right there. Jump over and get me U'Allah Shemut, chapter 7 and verse 1. Listen to the book.
Then Yahuah said to Moshe, see, I make you as Elohim to Pharaoh, and your Ak Aharun shall be your Nabi. You shall speak all that I command you, and your Ak Aharun shall speak to Pharaoh, that he let the Bani of Yasharal go out of his Synagogue.
Go back at verse 1 again. Listen.
Then Yahuah said to Moshe, see, I make you as Elohim to Pharaoh.
He said, I'm going to make you as Elohim to who?
Pharaoh.
To Pharaoh. So I'm giving Pharaoh a chance to be able to hear from Elohim and see what thus said Yahuah. And what happened?
And your Ak Aharun shall be your Nabi. You shall speak all that I command you, and your Ak Aharun shall speak to Pharaoh.
Even the things that proceeded forth out of Musha's mouth were the things that came forth from Yahuah. Now, in drawing this comparison, this is not necessarily to build a preacher, because it's not necessarily central to just congregation or just this body. This is everywhere that he set a man to be over the congregation, he's given that man to be able to be in the stead of Elohim. Because if you don't have that spokesman, how would you hear him? Come on.
You shall speak all that I command you, and your Ak Aharun shall speak to Pharaoh, that he let the Bani of Yasharal go out of his Synagogue. But I shall harden Pharaoh's lob, that I may multiply my acts and my wonders.
Read verse 2 again. Let's see what he said.
You shall speak all that I command you.
He said you're going to put the seeds in them.
And your Ak Aharun shall speak to Pharaoh, that he let the Bani of Yasharal go out of his Synagogue.
So he heard from Yahuah, correct? It's safe to say that he truly heard from Yahuah. We can 1,000% say that. The only way that'll be wrong, the book got to be wrong. Let's see. What happened when he heard from Yahuah?
But I shall harden Pharaoh's lob, that I may multiply my acts and my wonders in the arats of Mizraim.
So the thing that you have to look at is guess what? Though the seeds were planted, what kind of ground did it go into? It went into a hardened ground. So the thing that we all have to look at is yeah, he started off, he didn't know Yahuah, but guess what? Now you're having an opportunity through the fact that I'm giving you information, through the fact that I'm giving you a man to be able to bring forth the word, that you now have an opportunity to be able to know who he is. So now, guess what happens? When you don't take it and you don't walk according to what you heard, guess what kind of ground you're going to be? You're going to be the hardened ground. So it's not going to be the fault is in the seed, but the fault is in the ground that the seed was planted. Yeah. Jump back over and get me back at that Matthew, the 13th chapter. Matthew chapter 13, they call the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 7. Listen to the book.
There were some that fell among the thorns, and the thorns came up and crowded it out. And there were some that fell on tube soil and bore pari. One 100 times, another 60, and another 30.
So the thing that we all have to look at is guess what happened? All the works that Yahuah saw fit for Musha to go forth and work before Pharaoh. Matter of fact, jump back over at the 7th chapter. What verse we left off at? Let's see. We got a little bit of time.
Verse 4.
U'Allah Shemut, chapter 13 and verse 4. U'Allah Shemut, chapter 7 and verse 4. Matter of fact, Lee, let me hear your voice. Let him hear your voice, Lee. Listen. Okay, he already got it.
When Pharaoh does not shama to you, then I shall lay my yod on Mizraim and bring out my Sabo, my the Beni of Yasharal, from the arats of Mizraim, my mashpah.
So the thing that you have to look at, even in the fact that Yahuah saw fit to harden the heart of Pharaoh, though he was giving him the word, he just hardened his heart where he wouldn't walk according to it. That was all for a purpose, because guess what? When there was the famine upon the whole land, guess where everybody went to? Everybody went to Mizraim. So there was a ruler over Mizraim. So guess what? If I wanted life, where do I need to go? Mizraim. If I wanted food, where do I need to go? So everything that was life, really, life was only in Mizraim. If you read back over in Barbara Sheet, you'll see, what's that, the 44th chapter? 40? Okay. I think it's the 44th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. But you'll see, if you read it all the way down, it'll tell you that the famine went across the whole of land. So that meant that the only place that there was life and anything conducive to life everlasting, in a sense, would have been substantiating life would have only been in Mizraim. So who was over Mizraim? That meant that life was in Pharaoh's hands, death was in Pharaoh's hands. Because if he gave you the food, you had what? Life. You had life. If he didn't allow you to eat the food, then what did you have? You had death. So in the similitude, Pharaoh was Elohim. That was the only. I'm gonna tell you something. Realistically, you know who my master is going to be? The one who can give me, who controls my life. The one whose my life is in their hands. So for them, my true Elohim, though Yahuah is the only one, is the one who naturally I can see right now. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to say Yahuah the Elohim, but it's like, well, Pharaoh the one that gave me food. Pharaoh the one that, gave me a place to stay. So for that, guess how Yahuah was gonna be able to make his name? I got to take down the Elohim that you know. So now when you see that I took down the one that you thought was the life sustainer, you now realize, well, hold on. I thought if you took him down and he was this big, then how big are you? That meant that now, not looking at him, I'm looking at you now. Because you can take him down. You heal and you destroy. You make alive. That's the whole purpose of why he allows situations to happen. A lot of times when you'll have something you feel like is good, and then he'll move on it. And you got to look at, well, what's the purpose of him moving on those things? That's because a lot of times what will happen is you get too comfortable in the situations, get too comfortable in what you have. There's no desire to look unto him. The thing that you have to look at is, in the 14th chapter of the book of Yahuah, he said, in my father's house are many what? If it was not so, I go to do what? And if I go to prepare a place, I should come back to receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Why would I want to go with him if everything that I have right here is what I'll need? If I have too much love and affection for what I have naturally in my eyes, then why would I desire something better? That's the whole purpose of why he allows situations to happen to come to us. So that way, if my life is going too good, I'm not going to want to die. The only way that I can get that malchus with him is to do what? Die. So death is my only access, my only avenue to get to him. But if I have too much favor in my life, why would I want to go to the death to get to him? I'm too comfortable in what I have. That's just like even when he led them out of Mizraim, guess what they kept trying to do? I want to keep going back. You know why? Because that was comfortable where I was at. In the avenue that I have to go to is something I ain't never been this way before. I don't really know how that's going to work. But back here, I knew what I had. Right. So that's why I was comfortable in staying where I'm at. Right. That's the same similitude of what we do with sin. A lot of time when you look at what we've been called to do, a lot of the things that we hear through the word is all about separation. The word keeps coming into us from separated from different behaviors, separated from people, because the people have behaviors, and being with the people, we take on the behaviors of the people. So it's really a whole bar of being separated. That's why he taught us to be Kadash, even as he is Kadash. You know why? Because if I'm separated from them, I don't do the things that they do, I don't have the same behaviors, then in order for you to be with me, you're going to have to be separated. But that separation don't mean it's going to be something that's comfortable. It might be something that, for the moment, just like when a baby is born, I go through, all I've ever known was being in my mother's womb. Everything that I needed. If I needed food, I don't have to go and cry for nobody, ask nobody, do not wait for her to cook nothing up. It's already right there. So I'm comfortable where I am. So when I go through that birth and I'm being challenged to go and take on another estate, I'm going to cry. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I have to look at what am I getting on the other side? What is it that I'm getting? Just like when Sharath he read in Matthew, the 19th chapter of the book of Matthew at verse 26, talked about what they were going to get for their losses. You know why? Because you'd be lying to you to tell you that you're not going to lose some stuff. But the only thing I had to be minded of to be comfortable with the loss is to know that I'll get a greater gain on the other side. Come on.
The Mizrite shall yada that I am Yahuah when I stretch out my yad on Mizraim and bring out the Bani of Yasharal from their midst.
That's how he was going to get his great fame, by bringing you out, by delivering you from what's been holding you captive. Come on. So matter of fact, hold that. Jump back and get me Matthew, I think it's 1 and 21. Matter of fact, give me 1 and 20. Listen to the book.
He was thinking this way, but behold, a Malachim of Yahuah appeared to him in the column, saying, Yosef, ben of Daud, do not be Yahweh to take Marim, your Shah, for what has been formed within her is from the Ruach HaKadosh. And she is giving birth to a Ben, and you shall call her his Shem Yahusha.
Aki Chris, hold on a second. Aki Chris, jump over and get me Romans chapter 6 and 6 and 12. Maybe 6 and 10. Go ahead, Big Lee. Right back again at the beginning of 1 and 21.
Yes, sir. For he shall save his arm from their kataim.
So naturally, he's telling us, guess what? You are people who have been captive to something. And what is the thing that we've all been in the captivity of? He told you that, he concluded that all were what? All were under the hand of Pharaoh. Every one of them had been captive by sin. Sin is the thing that has held you in. So now I need somebody and something to come in and be my deliverer. That's the whole purpose of, guess what? Every time that he kept talking to Pharaoh, guess what he kept saying? Thus said Yahuah. Thus said Yahuah. I'm telling you of the one who is the true deliverer.
Right.
And then now we're finding out about the one who is going to give us that access through. He's now giving us, it's one thing to be able to tell you, okay, there is a place. So I know that there's a person who can deliver. But now I need to know how we're going to get it. That's just like we quoted, when I was quoting that 14th chapter, after he told them about that Malkut, what did they ask him? They said, show us the way. And he said, have I been so long time with you that you don't know that I am the way? That I'm the way that you're going to go through to get out of the captivity of sin? I'm the one that's going to be your true deliverer to get you out of the place that's been holding you captive that you felt so comfortable in, to get you to a place where you can truly see that your state can be so much better. Yeah. But in order to do that, I have to, one, understand who you are, and I have to understand what your power is. That's why before they had to get a true relationship with Yahuah, he had to be able to show them who he was by showing you what he can do. You had to see the demonstration of his power. And that's the whole thing of why he sent Yahusha. So that way I can see that there is a man, there is an avenue, there is a way that can lead you out. Jump back over what I told you, Romans chapter 6 and 12. Listen to the book.
If so, then do not rule over Kata in your Basar.
6 and 10. Listen.
For he that he moot to Kata one time, and who he kai to Elohim. So you were also
6 and go ahead.
So you were also in your as moot to Kata, and kai to Elohim in the Mashiach Yahushua, our Adon.
So the only way that we could get life was through who? Was through Yahushua. That's the only that's the only way we're gonna get it.
That's right.
That's the only avenue. Guess what? Yeah, okay. Guess what? In order for me to get an escape from Mizraim, I guess I'm gonna have to go through the Bamar bar. I got to go through there to get to where I'm trying to go. In order for me to get from sin or the death to get to life, is through what? It's through Yahusha. That's why he told you, I am the way.
Right.
I am the way. He was signifying to us how we're going to get there. That's what they asked him, how are we going to know the way? Right. You know, all this time you've been with me, I've showed you and demonstrated you. You've seen all these signs that I've worked over the Mizrahites, and you still don't know that I'm the way? You still troubled in your lob, and I've been working all these signs? Come on. Matter of fact, you know something else? Guess what? When Pharaoh saw the signs that would work, guess who else saw it? Everybody saw it. Everybody who was there would have saw it. The Yahusha would have saw it, as well as the Mizrahites. Everybody who would have been in there would have all saw the same works. That way, that gave everybody an opportunity here to hear and see the exact same thing. But it's all about what you do with it once you hear and see it. Come on.
If so, then do not rule over Kata in your Basar, that shall moot to obey your lob after your lust.
So when Moshe told him, and he said, thus said Yahuah, let my people go that they might keep a mu'at to me in the Bamar bar, and Pharaoh didn't want to let him go, guess what would have happened had they stayed in Mizraim? They would have been in the land of Moot. that sin of Pharaoh, which is a similitude of the sin, would have been holding them captive and keeping them from being able to do what Yahuah called them to do. Yeah. That's why by necessity, not only did I have to have a man to come down and take down Pharaoh, but I needed to get a man to show me that he can take down sin. Yeah. That's why he sent us Yahusha, to be able to show that you can live without sin. You don't have to be in the captivity of sin, but you can break free from it.
That's right.
That's why he gave him to us, so he can deliver he should save his people from their sins. I needed to see a man to be able to show me, how can I get out? All I've ever known was sin. Right. All I've ever known was Mizraim. That's the only thing I ever knew to be how I was going to substantiate my life, was through sin. Mizraim. Yeah. But that's us. Our Mizraim and our Pharaoh is sin. That's the sin that we keep yielding to. That's the sin that even when we hear the word, we'll go back to and desire to go back to. Yeah. And it's sick, because why would you want to desire something that's giving you death? Yeah. Right. Matter of fact, what's that? 6 and 23. Same book. Listen.
For the wages of Kata is moved.
Let me ask you this. What inheritance were they going to get in Mizraim? Nothing. So that meant that the only thing I could do after all my years of working was going to be what? Was going to be death. I could get nothing from everything that I did while I was in sin. The only thing that it could yield me was death. Right. But what was the gift that I could get if I followed the access that he gave me through Yahushua HaMashiach?
But the Barak of the Kasid of Elohim is Alam Kai.
Alam Kai. Guess what? That's just like if I received the seeds. Guess what will happen when the seeds fall in the good ground? It'll produce. And then those seeds will have what? Those fruits will have what? More seeds. And so what they'll bring forth? So that's just like Kai everlasting if I receive the word, because it continues on and on. It's not cut off.
Right.
That's the whole purpose of why he gave us the word. Yeah. And the thing is if we don't truly allow it to come in and take root, then we just be just like them in Mizraim. It's nothing we can benefit from anything that we're doing right now. The only way that we can get a benefit from what we're doing is by doing what's right. Yeah. Jump back over at that Matthew, 13th chapter. Matthew 13 and 8. Listen to the book.
And there were some that fell on the tube soil and bore pari. 100 times, one 100 times, another 60, and another 30. Whoever has ears to shama, let him shama.
So why would he go from? He started off telling them about seeds, and now he's telling them, whosoever have an ear to hear, let him hear. Because he's trying to let you know that I'm planting seeds every time I'm giving you the word. Yeah. And not every ground is going to be accepting of the seeds I'm putting into it. Right. So though I'm putting the seeds out here, though all the signs that will work in the eyes of Pharaoh as well as everybody else in the land, guess what? It was only for those that had an ear to hear. The only people that were going to hearken to the call were those who had an ear to hear. My ears are tuned to it. My heart, my life is set to be tube ground. Come on.
And the Talmudim approached him and said, why is it that you speak to them in Mashali?
They said, why you say it like this? Why you say it like this, Yahusha? What's the meaning of this?
And he answered and said, because to you it is given to Yada the secrets of the Malkut of the Shamayim, but to them it is not given.
Don't you know that though Pharaoh saw the same works, it really wasn't given to him to know? Guess why? Because though he saw it, guess what happened? His heart was hardened. So it was never given to him to really take it. It was only given to be a witness against them. And a lot of times we get comfortable in the fact that we hear the word. Guess what? You saw the signs, but what good is it for you? Is it going to be for your life, or is it going to be for your condemnation, so I can show that I take you down? And my power will even be known through that. Come on.
For to him who has, it shall surely be given to him, and he shall have an abundance. But for to him...
He's talking about them that got the ear. You can only get an abundance based upon the seed falling in good ground. Right. Come on.
But for to him who does not possess, even what he does have shall be taken away from him. Therefore I speak to them in Mashali.
I'm sorry I bore y'all. I spent. Go ahead.
For in their seeing they shall not see, and in their shama they shall not shama.
So that meant that even though Pharaoh saw, he didn't see. I think what preachers say, old pastor told him what, sometimes you got to see stuff and not see it. Guess what? Pharaoh saw it, but guess what? He ain't see it. What else?
Nor do they even understand.
He heard, because Musha, he didn't just work the sign. He told him, thus said Yahuah. He kept telling them before he worked the signs. But guess what? Though hearing.
And in their hearing, they shall not hear.
He heard, despite all the things he heard, despite all the things he saw, he didn't hearken unto it. So it ended up being deaf to him. That's the same thing we have to realize. We're hearing things and we're seeing works being done, but if we don't hearken to it and live by it, then what's it going to be for us? It's going to be deaf to us. Now that gives us an opportunity to be able to understand that the same word works in two folds. The same word that can give me life is the same word that can give me death. That's right. Mm-hmm. Just like we talked about with Pharaoh, now I'm able to see that I've taken down Pharaoh, and now I'm the true one that can give life or give death. So it's all about how you come to me. What is it? How do you come to me, and what is it that you get when you come from me? And then not only what do you get, but what did you do with what you get? That's a lot of us. We come in and hear the word, but what do we do with it once we leave? Yeah. How good is the ground that it's falling on? Is it just falling on deaf ears? Are we hearing and not hearing? Are we seeing and not understanding? The truth is, the true time that we demonstrate that is not in us being able to say, oh, hand clap, that was a good debar. Oh, preacher, let me shake your hand and tell you how good that word is. But it's when you go out there and you live by it. Yeah. Through your demonstration, that shows where you are. Yeah. Guess what? Pharaoh kept saying, you know what? I'm going to turn, I'm going to repent. Go ahead and applaud for me. But then guess what would happen? I would go right back to doing something contrary. Right. That's the same thing a lot of us keep doing. Yeah. We'll hear the word, we'll be like, okay, that's a good debar. You know what? Preacher, pray for me. Pray for me. I really want to try to get it right. And preacher tell you, he said, I'm going to keep doing the same thing. But guess what? That's what's going to happen. You're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep doing the same work. You're not going to do it. Mushah kept going and telling the same man the same stuff. And guess what? He wasn't going to do it. Why? Because his heart was hard. His heart was hard. Just like Sharath Jahiki. What did he keep telling us? He kept talking about getting that heart transplant. You know why? Because I need to have a heart that can be to ground. I need a heart that when the word comes forth, it can bring forth the necessary changes. It can bring forth the necessary transformations. It's all about being moldable. It's able to be formed and shaped by the word. Right. When the word comes, the word tells me don't do this, what do I do? Don't do it. When the word tells me to do something, what do I do? Do it. But what happens when the word tells me not to do something, but I do it anyway? When the word tells me to do something and I don't do it, it's going to yield me death. Yeah. You know why? Because that's how his power is going to be shown. That's how his power is going to be known. Because if you do opposite of, if I'm Elohim and I tell you to do, I say, Daniel, stand up, but you keep sitting down. Guess what everybody's going to say? I'm Elohim, y'all. I'm Elohim. I got all power. Stand up, Daniel. No, you got to stay down. Sit down. You got walk with me. I'm sorry. Here you go. You know what? I might be the first Sharath to do this. All right, here we are. Ready? Stand up, preacher. Now, what is that? That's tight. So this. I didn't think it was going to go that way. So just to give a little bit more context, okay? Let's say that I am Yahuah, right? In this situation, I am Elohim. Just like he told Mushah, he was going to be Elohim. So let's say I am Elohim, right? And you all are the congregation with which I'm speaking. He sent me to speak to you, and he says, stand up. I'm telling you, stand up. Thus said Yahuah, stand up. Stand up. And when you don't stand and others see that, I told you to do something, you didn't do it, and nothing happened to you, what the rest of the people going to do? They're going to do the same thing. So you can't be Elohim because you don't have no control. You can't even control these mortal men. So why would I be coming to you? That's why when the man disobeys him, he took the man down so that way others will fear. That way his power will be known through the demonstration of what happened when I don't obey. I took down a whole nation of people. Everybody who followed after Pharaoh, what happened to them? He took them all down. All of them died. You know why? Because you went after your Elohim, but I'm the true one. So not only am I going to take your Elohim down, but I'm going to take you down because you're with him. That's the baraka that we all have through the fact that he allowed us to see who the true Elohim is. That's right. Matter of fact, what I had you holding, Yahuah chapter 17-3. Man, I was having a really good time, but we're going to probably wrap it up here. But I was having a good time, though. Y'all willing, he'll give me more time. Go ahead, listen to the book.
This is Alam Kai.
This is Alam Kai. This is life everlasting. This is life eternal. To do what?
To know you.
To know him. So guess what happened? Why did Pharaoh die and all the people who followed after him? He didn't know him. He said, who is he? Yeah. Why would I be hearkening to this man if I don't know him? Yeah. So guess what? I'm not going to do what he says. If he's telling me to do things conducive to life, why would I listen to him? I don't know you. So now the benefit that we all have is we know him. So now when we hear the word and the word tells us do this and do that, why would I not do it? If I want life, I got to know what happened when I don't know it. Come on.
That you alone are Elohim.
That him alone is Elohim. That he's the only one. Guess what? When Yahusha left out, they were just Yahusha. They was a mixed multitude. That meant that other Goyim, through them being able to see and being able to hear, guess what they did? I want to follow after this man too. So guess what? If I naturally, they wouldn't have been the people of Elohim. They would have had other Elohim that they would have been serving. But based upon me seeing and hearing, I'm making changes and transformations. Right. And I'm being able to say, based upon the demonstration of what he showed me, that's the one. Right. That's the one that's got the power. The thing that we could have all been, just like we showed when preachers showed that picture of all those different people and all their Elohim, these are people who they feel like, oh yeah, this is the one. Yeah. These people aren't going after them knowing that they don't have no power. They truly, some of them, a lot of them truly believe that that's the one that gives life. What's the difference between them and us that he saw fit to allow us to hear it and not allow our hearts to be hardened? He could have hardened our hearts. He could have made us the background. But instead he saw fit to give us an opportunity to get something different. Right. Come on, read it again for me. 17 and 3. Listen to the book.
This is Alam Kaid.
This is life everlasting.
To da'at you.
To know him. To know him. That's why he told us he gave us the writers. Whatsoever thing was written aforetime were written to do what? To teach us. To show us how to be like who? Because when Yahuah and Yahusha, when they going to die? Yahusha died once for all, but he got up. He not dying again. Right. He told you that all power was given to him. And where? Shamayim and... So that's going to make him who? That's going to make him Elohim. That means I'm better than every other one that you got down here. Yeah. No, none of the other ones can take any power from me. I got not just some of the power, and not even just all the power in the Arats, but I got all the power in Shamayim and the Arats. Yeah. You know how much power that is? You was a bad man. All this? That's crazy. And I would go and do something contrary to you? Come on.
That you alone are Elohim.
That him and him alone. So that meant that I can't go and serve after sin and serve after him. Because that would mean I have two Elohim. It wouldn't work. Come on.
And Yahushua HaMashiach, whom you have sent.
And Yahushua HaMashiach, whom you sent. That's the way. That's the way that he gave us to be able to be led out of the captivity of sin, to be led out of the captivity of death. So now, even though I am in Mizraim in the sense that I'm in the flesh, but I'm looking for a man who can lead me out and bring me into something that's giving me Kai everlasting. And that's all going to be through Yahushua. That's my time. How do you?
All right.